right at the Forstner bit tip. Okay. So we can put some mineral in.
There you go.
Okay, I can't do any turning out here because it's out of round as it dried. If I had brought a scraper with me, I'd clean that up with a scraper and then sand it and finish it. And, you know, if you ever take stupid pills, you're welcome to try turning a double natural edge bowl too. Just don't expect to sell it. Any questions?
You want to look intelligent now? That one goes in the letter.
Don, have you ever tried, instead of putting like a rebate in the bottom, just using a vacuum chuck?
Vacuum chucks scare me. I have one. And yes, I could do that. I've had just enough power outages while I was down in my shop that I don't like to gamble on that. You lose the light and the vacuum at the same time. It's not a good situation. And I know there are people who do things like they make a vacuum buffer. So they put a big tank in the system so that at least when the power goes out, you don't lose vacuum immediately. The other thing that I've thought of doing, there was a wonderful article by David Reed Smith a few months ago where he talked about putting blue tape, painter's tape, and then using hot melt glue for mounting a surface so you can turn the bottom side. And I've been doing that. It works amazingly well. And I've thought about maybe not having to leave the spigot, at least not through the drying, and mounting it that way. But I decided to do the tried and true since I knew this worked.
Would you explain that again, please?
Yes. What you do is you get a piece of wood that more or less fits in the bowl or the vase or whatever. You put painter's tape on the inside of your bowl, which can be finished, and then on the piece of mating wood, put hot melt glue on it, slam them together, and I do it with it mounted in the tailstock so I know it's well centered. And then you can unchuck it and do whatever you need to do on the bottom. And the neat thing about that blue tape is it has great shear strength and very weak tensile strength. And so it holds remarkably well when you're turning. But all you have to do is pull and pull and pull, and it comes loose. Now I have broken pieces removing it. It holds that well. But generally, I think it's a wonderful idea. It's, I think it was in Wood Turning Design magazine. Did anyone see that 3, 4, 5 months ago?
If you want to loosen it up, just put hot water on it, on a rag.
Yeah, well, I'd rather not on the finished surface.
Well,
But
it's not going to hit it.
well, but I've got this sandwich of blue tape, hot glue, blue tape, and the wood that is fitting in here.
That's regular blue tape, the masking tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you putting blue tape on the block as well as on the piece?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't really think you need it on the block.
Yeah, I thought you said you were at a sandwich.
Yeah. The advantage of putting it on the block as well is then it doesn't matter whether it pulls loose from your workpiece or from the anchor. The key thing is to get them apart.
Don, to add to that, you can go directly to your bowl the spigot with hot melt glue.
Yeah, I know. I saw you did that.
And the problem is how do you get it off?
Yeah.
And the answer is a heat gun.
If your finish isn't heat sensitive.
Heat that, and it'll come off, and they'll leave like a little syrup film on there. After that cools down, the lacquer thinner will come in. But it works remarkably well. I know on a big piece, I don't even get a little nervous.
Yeah.
I understand. for holding strength, you know.
Yeah.
Question
Yep.
on your tailstock, to support it until you just
Oh,
down
sure.
that last.
Yes, I'm a firm believer in tailstock as long as you can.
I've finished pieces, and I've had the tape on the finish itself,
Uh-huh.
a hand rub finish. And I've taken a electric heat device and put a rag around it, put water on it, not soaking wet, but then, and put it on the tape, and it comes right off.
Well,
Without damaging the finish.
yeah, it usually, once you get the thing broken apart, then you can pick the tape off. That's not the problem. The
Right.
problem is actually physically separating it.
Works for me.
I have a question. I'm not sure how you were able to center the second part.
Okay. I don't have my centering jig with me, but remember, we had the pivot point, and that's still in the centering jig. And let's say that we had a 10-inch diameter. So a radius is 5 inches. So I just make sure the bandsaw is off and measure out 5 inches from the blade. Turn this, it's on a vertical axis, 90 degrees, make another mark, and another mark. And the center of those marks is the extension of this vertical axis. Anybody else?